I'm Shikamaru Nara, and welcome to the Hydroverse. What a drag.
Yes.
What a drag ruins everything, doesn't it?
No, I love the what a drag, because from Shikamaru's mentality, everything's a drag, and that's fine by me.
Stop complaining about what a drag everything is.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hydroverse. Today on our channel, we have the legendary, the amazing Mr. Tom Gibis. Tom Gibis, if you want to take the mic and tell the people what it is that you do and who you are.
Well, thank you very much. Glad to be on the show. I am Tom Gibis, and most notably, I am the voice of Shikamaru Nara on Naruto.
That's right. The legendary. And I heard you say in a couple other interviews where like Shikamaru might be somebody's fifth favorite character, sixth favorite character.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But he's literally my favorite character. So this really means a lot. As you can see from my profile picture,
and your
identify as Shikamaru. So let's just jump right into it.
Sure.
What got you into voice acting, and was it something you knew you always wanted to do, or was it just the universe, providing destiny?
Well, I always wanted to be an actor. I guess I can say I always wanted to be an actor. There were times when I didn't think being actor was a very practical choice. And so for a while there, I was, my big thought was to be a forest ranger. That was like,
wow. Outdoors.
Junior high and high school, because, I didn't know any actors. Nobody knew any actors. I'm from Minnesota, in the suburbs, lived in the suburbs. And it was like, that seems like a made up job, being an actor. Famous people are actors, but not somebody you sit across the hall in math class with, you know what I mean?
Right.
It just didn't seem like a real thing. So anyway, I then realized how tough it is to be a forest ranger. And I guess the Department of Natural Resources hires like 2 forestry people, or the forestry department only they hire like 2 or 3 people a year. It's really tough to be a forest ranger in the United States. It's a very sought after job. And then I was like, well, the odds are just as good to be an actor. So I did that. And I did plays in school and stuff like that. And then so I actually went to college and studied acting, and my degree is in acting directing. I graduated from Minnesota State Mankato.
Oh, nice.
At the time, it was called Mankato State, Minnesota, but now they've changed that to Minnesota State. So, but so I studied acting. I did like an internship at the Children's Theater Company of Minneapolis, which is like a world-renowned theater. And I then proceeded to I did a national tour. I did, I worked at the Guthrie Theater in Minneapolis, which is a pretty prestigious regional theater. I did commercials. I did a couple of little movie things. I did a lot of improv. That's probably my strongest suit. I worked in nightclubs and did improv. I did improv on the Disney cruise ships, the very first one that came out.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
That was like 99, 2000. And, did 2 tours on that. I did the Disney Magic and the Disney Wonder. Nice. And so I, was getting paid to do comedy, which was fantastic. And I was doing like little commercial work here and that kind of thing. And I came out to Los Angeles and trying to go into a bigger, because I always wanted to do TV shows. I always wanted to do movies and that kind of thing. Always wanted to be like on Saturday Night Live. And that never quite really worked out, but I mean, I kind of pursued that path for a little bit. It was funny when I was working with a theater in Los Angeles. And then when I went to the Disney cruise ships and I was away for 6 months, when I came back, like 5 or 6 of the people that I had worked with at the comedy club in Los Angeles had auditioned for Saturday Night Live.
Oh, okay.
Like, I kind of missed my moment there.
Oh, wow.
But, you just figure, it'll come around or something will happen. And it just didn't really work out that way. But, that's the way it goes. And voiceover just was kind of an offshoot of that. It's sort of like, I've done Shakespeare, I've done drama, I've done comedies, I've done musicals, I've done commercials, I've done movies, I've done television, I've done trade shows, I've done,
Wow.
I put on an outfit and walked around a convention for computers. I've done, just anything that I've taught class, I've taught improv, I've taken class, I've done, and so voiceover was just another aspect of acting as far as I was concerned. And I know a lot of actors that are on our show that's the same way. Like they were actors and then they just happened to go into the voice part of it. And actually, there's very few people I know that just said, I want to be a voice actor and that's it.
Right.
I want to be an actor. And this is where I found a little bit of success as in voice acting.
Okay.
That's really more the case. So when people ask me like, well, how do you get started? It's like, go off and be an actor. That's what I say,
Right. Make some connections.
Yeah. Today it's completely different. Today, because, things like social media, TikTok, Instagram, all this kind of stuff, you basically have a, television studio in your pocket, which is your iPhone. And you can see my screensaver there.
That's right.
Yeah. And, you can be producing your own stuff and getting it out there, and you might be able to find an audience and then turn that into something. So the pathways to getting to do this kind of work, I think, are very different than when it was when I was coming up,
Right.
So anyway, that's kind of answers your question in a roundabout way.
Yeah, totally. So I know you've done other stuff too, but how ecstatic were you when you landed the Shikamaru gig, and did you realize it was such a big deal at the time?
I knew it was a big deal. Yes and no. I mean, to me, it was just another job, and I was happy to work.
Okay.
I knew it was a little bit of a big deal because they brought almost everybody in town out to audition for Naruto. And I knew that there was a ton of roles. And so I was thinking or hoping, I get something. And it worked out, and I did get something. And but if you look at the cast list of Naruto and then you compare it to like cast lists of a lot of other shows, it's the same people. Like there's a lot of those people are there.
Right.
They tend to work a lot. And so there was a big, massive audition, and I don't even know how I got called in because I never had an agent for voiceover work. It's always been like I've gotten one thing and then somebody's recommended me, or I've worked with somebody and then they call me in. Would you like to audition for this? And I'm like, sure, great. So I don't know how they got. Oh, my internet connection is unstable. Are you noticing anything over?
It was laggy for a second, but it picked back up now.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, boy. We've been having some trouble over here, which has been making my wife crazy. But she's been working from home. So, internet trouble, it's problematic. So what was I saying? Where were we?
You were just speaking of when you landed the Shikamaru gig.
So I kind of knew it was a big deal. I never heard of it, honestly. When I came into the lobby, I remember they had a bunch of the books out, and then they had sides for many of the characters. And they said, basically, take a few minutes, pick 3 of the characters, and then, when we call you in, we'll have you read those characters. Because there were so many characters to choose from.
Right.
So the 3 I picked was Naruto, Choji, and Shikamaru. And I don't know why. I just had read a couple of lines and I went, oh, this guy seems cool. Or Naruto because he's the lead character. So you want to take a shot at being the lead.
Of course.
For sure. And then the other 2, I don't know why I picked Choji and Shikamaru, but maybe because Choji's kind of chubby, I'm kind of chubby, and I kind of, it's like, oh yeah, I get the heavy. I know what a heavy set kid goes through, because I was a heavy set kid. I am a heavy set kid.
That's crazy because they're both from Team 10. So did you realize that at the time or no?
No, not at all.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it was a very funny thing because Shikamaru doesn't really get introduced until like 4 or 5 episodes in on the series. I think there was like, I had one line in like episode 3. Somebody can correct me on this, but it was something like that. It's like early on, I had like 1 or 2 lines. They brought me in. I did those 1 or 2 lines because they had cast me as Shikamaru. And I was surprised by that because I don't usually play the cool guy or, whatever. And then I didn't hear from them for like 3 months. I didn't hear from them. And I thought, oh, well, maybe they decided to go with somebody else, or because at that point I didn't know, how big a part it was in the show, or how big the show was, or how many episodes or anything. I was used to doing series that were like 30 episodes. That's the whole thing, right? 30 episodes and you're done. And that seems to be a trend in anime. And so here I'm thinking like, oh, I've done a couple episodes at the beginning. And they either replaced me or my character really doesn't do much. And then all of a sudden, like after 3 months, and I think I might have even called them and said, is this still happening? Am I still cast in this show? Is this something that's going on? And then finally they said, oh yeah, we'll get to you. It's just your character we don't have you in for right now, but you trust us. You got a lot of stuff coming up. And I was like, okay. And then it got to be pretty regular. They'd bring me in maybe once a month or something. And I would do all my lines, all my parts for that. The episodes you can do several episodes in one recording session. So they would have me come in and do my stuff. And then it's like basically once a month, once every 2 months there, but it was been pretty consistent for the last 15 years that way. Right.
Wow. Yeah, that worked out.
And then even now through the pandemic, I've pretty much gone in maybe 2 months is the most it's been without them calling me in, but I'll come in, do a session probably once a month, once every 2 months is probably the most it's been, but, and it's been consistent and that's kind of nice, it's just for 15 years, you can say, well, I'm on a series and I've got this going, so
yeah.
Just the way it's been.
So obviously when you're talking about, how you've been going in every so often, you're referring to Boruto, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, it's for us, there's never been a break, right? We went, even though in the series it goes Naruto, then there was like a break, and then they brought it back as Naruto Shippuden, and then there was a break, and it came back as Boruto. For us, because we're always behind on the dubbing, right? So it was Naruto, and by the time we had finished Naruto Shippuden had already started, so we started then. So for me, it was like, oh, Naruto's over. Really? Oh, we need you to come in next week for Naruto Shippuden. Well, what's the difference? Well, he's 3 years older. Okay. And then you just keep going. And then I remember we did the last episode of Naruto Shippuden, and it was like episode 750 or whatever it was. And it was kind of a big deal. They kind of at least acknowledged it. And I was like, oh, wow. So that's it. And then almost immediately I got a call I think we did a movie after that, but then it was like Boruto started up. There really wasn't much of a gap, or at least I don't remember it being much of a gap. Or I knew that the next series was starting and that my character was still alive and still doing stuff. So, because that's the thing, you don't know, you might get killed off. And so, internet connection is unstable. Oh,
yeah. It's all good. It lagged for a little split second, but you're back in motion now.
Something's happening. My wife is like, see, it happens. It's not in my mind.
So, okay. So I know how you mentioned, the 750 episodes. So would that be the episodes that Shikamaru had a voice part in?
No, I think it's 750 overall. I think, somebody could probably look it up and let me know, but I'm guessing. If I was going to guess, I've been in probably, of those 750, that's Naruto Shippuden, I've probably been in 500-ish of those. Oh, gotcha. That would be my guess.
Okay.
I'm in quite a few episodes.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
There's a lot of arcs where I wasn't involved at all. Uh-oh, are we frozen?
It's all good because we're not live right now. So.
Oh, okay. So you can edit all that?
I'll edit it. Yeah, maybe just
Put some
keep it.
screeches in, like we were suddenly attacked by hidden ninja.
Oh, that would be great. I need to add that in. So, okay, I have a question. When the
Yes.
video games came around,
Yes.
was that like, is that a lot of work or is that more quicker than, and did that
That's like
bring
a
on
day.
like a whole new, oh, just a day?
Yeah, it's a day. Basically, it's a day. Although, and a lot of the cutscenes from the video games mirror what we do in the episodes,
Right.
but the fact is that they're not identical. They can't use the poll, so we have to like re-record them. So we would do several scenes that are that you would be familiar with, that you saw in the series. We would recreate them for the video games. But once we've done them and you kind of remember what you did on that, the wording might be a little bit off, but basically it's a very simple adjustment. And then you just do a lot of the player one select. Oh, you're going to pick me? What a drag. They have like 5 lines, like picking player 2. Oh, really? Oh, man.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. It's cool that because some video games, they swap out the voice actors for the characters. Oh, yeah. But I'm glad that you guys keep.
That's a licensing thing. Like, I know they did that with Avengers. Yeah. First of all, you're doing a video game for like Avengers Endgame kind of thing. It's going to be tough to get Robert Downey Jr. in the booth to do it for a video game. And you're going to have to pay him a ton of money. And then I don't know if you've noticed on that video game, they changed their likeness. So they don't, it doesn't look like Robert Downey Jr. It's like generic or whatever. But I think they did try and match vocally sort of the stylings of those actors so that you have a Chris Pratt feel. Right. And Spider-Man feel, which is good because that creates work for people like me. I didn't do that game, but I mean,
good point.
People of my ilk, my level of success, that's the kind of work we do. So, great. If they don't, if they don't want to do it, that's fine. And I don't know. I mean, money wise, they're not going to get scale. So I'm sure if you're a video game producer, you're like, look, we just need to get this.
Yeah, that's true.
And so getting some of your top-notch talent is going to it's a big ask. And so I think that was the reason they did that. So it wasn't I'm sure they would have loved to have Robert Downey Jr. do it, but it's just like they don't want to pay that amount. And I'm sure he doesn't want to go in a booth with that game. I think it was a little more intense. So they probably would have had a couple of days of recording for him, Yeah. But usually the video games for us, for Naruto, I can't speak for Maile because she's the lead, but usually it's like 1 or 2 days. I don't think I've ever done a video game that was more than 2 days. And then they bank all the like screaming stuff at the very end so that you don't blow your voice out.
Conserve the vocals.
So you blow your voice out on your way out the door. They don't.
They don't care. Send you off.
They don't want to go back and then get you to do dialogue after you've been screaming for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And they're really good. I got to say, Studiopolis is where we work out of. They're really good about, and all through COVID and everything, I just got to say they're top notch about, taking all the protocols. They've been really great with us as actors, knowing how, and I think part of that is we've had other actors be our directors, people like Mary Elizabeth McGuinn, because she's also Asuma's girlfriend, but I can't think of the character name right now. Kurenai. She plays that in the series, but she was also director of many of the shows, and she's just wonderful because she knows what it takes, what kind of strain it is on a actor's voice, So she's very aware of trying to protect our voice and protect us. And so, we've always been lucky, and Studiopolis has been a great studio to work for in that regard because they're top notch as far as making sure everybody's safe and comfortable and that we all have a great working relationship.
Yeah.
So I'm that company, this whole show has been great. Like everybody on it has been really wonderful. So.
That's great to know. That's amazing. I'm glad you've been blessed with the opportunity.
Yeah, you work on some stuff and it's, it is a little bit fly by night and they don't quite know what they're doing. And you're kind of like, what is this? What am I supposed to be, and you're at some weird warehouse, 8 at night and you're like, what's going on? And you record your stuff and you get in and you get out and then you find out like, oh, that was pretty popular. That was a kind of a good show.
Yeah.
It's like, interesting,
I'm wondering, do you ever see somebody in public wearing maybe a Naruto shirt or Naruto gear in any way and then like surprise them with the Shikamaru voice?
Sometimes, here's the trick, right? So you go, oh yeah, I do Shikamaru Nara, and I could see you walking down the street with a Shikamaru shirt on, and I might want to say something, but I might be talking to somebody who only likes sub.
Right. That's a good point.
Right? So it's a weird thing, and
the whole sub versus dub wars.
I know, and it's so dumb. It's like, look, if that's what you like, that's what you like. That's fine. I don't have any problem with that. But there's a lot of people that like the dub, so that's why we're having this conversation, right?
Right.
So, don't waste my time with, oh, dub is so boring. I don't care. Go find your subgroup. That's fine.
Yeah. Sub is good sometimes to get the feel of the Japanese, the culture, and I like that. But with some shows, I just enjoy dub better, to hear the voices, to hear the accents if they have them. And
I just find sometimes, and this is true about foreign movies just in general, when you're reading subtitles, you miss a lot of the actual visual.
Right.
And so I guess if you were going to learn Japanese and that's comfortable for you, that's fantastic and awesome for you for doing that. That's great. Again, I'm not putting down anybody like sub. I'm just saying for me, like I want to know the story, what's going on. So hearing it and not having to read, I can really look at, because it is a visual medium. I mean, it's
right.
It is all about the animation, right? It's called anime. It's animation. It's about that beautiful pictures that they're making on the screen. So sometimes, especially in the big battle scenes, I mean, to have to be reading when you're looking up and like, who got hit? What's going on? It's just a lot of, and just movies in general, when you have to do subtitles, I find I'm missing what's going on in the actors' faces. You kind of, a lot of the storytelling is through emotion and through, your face.
Right. Totally.
And so you don't want to lose that. So look, although when you see a live action thing, it's very distracting to see dub because the mouth doesn't match up.
Yeah.
We go to great pains on our show to make it fit, make it look like, there's so many people, I can't even tell you, that say, so what, you guys record the show and then you send it to Japan and then they do their voices? And I'm like, no, it's the other way around, And, but part of that is because we take such care to make it look right, to make the mouth, the flaps.
Yeah. I've always wondered that, with the original wording and dialogue of the show, are there some things that get lost in translation? Is that sometimes why you guys maybe ad-lib or paraphrase to make it work? Yeah, exactly. Gotcha. Well, you have to Americanize it, I should say Englishanize it, right? Because there's just things that's not how people talk, you can do a strict translation. You've probably seen it. Actually, when you're doing sub, you're probably reading more of a closer to a strict translation. Because as you know, if you look at the books and then you look at the sub, that's not even the same. They've made some changes there. Yeah. And then when when you're looking at the animation, it just doesn't. Here's an interesting example. In Japan, they say Nara Shikamaru. They would not say Shikamaru Nara. I've noticed, how they switched the last and first. Yeah. They also make a lot of cultural references. If you notice what we do, sometimes we do like these filler things, and sometimes the language can get a little awkward. We'll say,
and then we must go, we must go to the store, right? And it's like, then maybe we should go to the store. Now maybe we should go to the store. We add little filler words. Now maybe let's,
okay.
To give us a little bit more, because sometimes it's really long. And a lot of times Japanese will be very short to say a very big idea. And it's a very small thing. Like, for example, we just go with my catchphrase, what a drag. That's the very Americanized version of what he's really saying. Because what he's really saying is troublesome. That would be a strict translation. I think that's how they do it in the book. So troublesome. But it's not troublesome, right? It is that more of what we would call that feeling of what a drag, right? Like, I don't want to, sort of. And in Japanese, it's, let's see, mondokusai.
Yeah.
Mondokusai. But it's really, when you see the actor do it, it's like, mondokusai.
Right. Same vibe.
The face, the eyes, so so the best way we can capture that sort of, it's not a whine, it's not a, you got to come up with something, and you go, well, it's really like somebody going, what a drag. I don't want to do this, right? So that's what it ends up becoming, because we can understand that. Troublesome is people don't walk around saying, oh, so troublesome. And it's not really right? It's like troublesome isn't quite troublesome,
Right. Doesn't fit for how we use the language out here. Yeah.
You could make it work, but it's not quite right. And if you notice, we do try and make the language very common, like how we speak, as opposed to a strict translation. But with all that, we have the approval of the Japanese. They look at it and go, try and make it as accessible to a modern audience, a modern American audience or English speaking audience as you can, and without losing. So for all these people that kind of want to die on this hill of like, it's not the same, it's completely, they translate it wrong, it's like, no, it's all done with approval. The whole idea here is to make the show as accessible as possible. So you can't, if you did it the way that the purists would want it done, everybody would hate the show, because it's like, that's not how people talk. I don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
It's all weird. They talk it'd be like watching Shakespeare, right? Like, the reason that we still don't talk that way is because people, it doesn't resonate with people, right?
Yeah.
We could be saying thee and thou and thou and thus, and it's like,
art thou.
All thee, come hither, ladies and lads. Dost thou not know it is I, Hydro, the saucy lad?
Yeah, we don't do that. And if you did that to the show, to Naruto, it would sound that way. It would sound stilted, and it wouldn't, in the same way that Shakespeare is. We can understand it, but it's like, that's just not how people talk. And for Shakespeare, it's because of the distance of time, but this is different distance of language. And that's all there is to it. So when you look for the spirit, the tone, you're looking for, how do you make this story? If you're going to tell this story, how are you going to tell it to an American or to an English speaking audience? Because, we're also running, Australia, New Zealand, England. Anybody that speaks English gets our version of the show, which is probably a little more Americanized than they're probably happy with. But but they made a choice, and that's what they decided to go with. And lucky for me, because I get a job.
Yeah, exactly. What do you have any favorite moments or memorable moments in your career as a voice actor, whether it's with Naruto or not? And whether it's with Shikamaru specifically or not, just any memorable moments or stories.
Well, Shikamaru, there's a lot of great moments. The beauty of that show is, we don't get the scripts in advance. And I can't say that I ran out and bought all the books and read them and, follow the manga. But, I kind of go in there blind, right?
Okay.
I'd get a little hint like, oh, you got a good story arc coming up. Just trust me, you know.
Nice.
Okay, I have no idea. But the beauty of that is, and this is where I think my improv kind of training helps as far as being an actor, is you come in and I don't know what's going to happen that day. And, you know, you start reading the script and doing the lines and you're seeing little bits and you're like, the director sort of explaining, okay, so you guys are out on the road and you found these two guys. They're called the Akatsuki. Right. And you're like, okay. And they're kind of badass guys, you know, and you're like, all right. But well, Asuma and your little team are going to try and take them down and get these guys under control. Okay, got it. You know, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, wait a second, what? Wait, is Asuma hit? Now, does that mean he's dead, or is he just wounded, or what? You know, so I'm experiencing it in real time. I'm not, you know, it's happening right there for me. And so like, I'm like, I can't, spoiler alert, right? But it's like, the beauty of that is I'm reacting to it emotionally. Like it's the first time I'm hearing this information, because it's the first time I'm hearing this information. So in a way, I've gotten to the point where I've known Shikamaru so well, I can basically just talk in his voice. And then when things happen, it's like, I know exactly how to react. And you also have the bonus of being able to watch the Japanese version, although I don't feel like the voice really helps me so much as seeing the animation and seeing the faces. And so if Shikamaru's face is like this, you know, Asuma, you know, but when you see the face, it cues you in as to what the emotion should be. But, yeah. So probably you were saying what's the funnest day I ever had to being a voice actor was when I was doing Justice League, the Toy Man in Justice League.
Yeah, I saw that.
The Justice League Adventures Trapped in Time. That's the name of the full title of the stupid. and that was another one that I thought, oh, they're going to do a ton of these. This is going to be great. And it was like, oh, we did one. Didn't catch. But I was in the room, and it was one of those rare situations where, because it was an original animation, that we had all the villains were in the room. They recorded all the villains at the same time. So, and I know a lot of these guys. So it was like Liam O'Brien, who plays Gaara. He was in that session. And
wow.
Tony Oliver, who is Naruto's dad. Anyway, so we had this whole group of actors, and we got to do our lines together, and we get to play off each other. And then here I come in with the Toy Man.
Let's see whose toy breaks first.
Who's this completely lunatic, off the rails, you know, goofy character, right? You know, because I don't think the Joker was in this one, but we had like Lex Luthor and Black Mantis and, you know, Solomon Grundy and Bizarro Superman, and, you know, and so I was the Toy Man, and so it was fun to come in there and be all
yes.
And so that was it was a fun day because I got to really play off everybody, and I just felt like I was in a groove, and I was making those guys laugh. So I had an audience, and they were live, and I was making them laugh, and I'm like, I'm doing something right. So this is fantastic. So we had, and then there was a nice thing too. I went into another recording session, and somebody said, "Oh, I heard you were just hysterical over at the Justice League one." So when you heard it from a third person, it's kind of like, wow, that was, you know, it was nice. Everybody there was a professional. Everybody was great there. Everybody was having a great day. We were all having fun together.
Yeah.
This thing. And then to find out, like, somebody went and said, oh yeah, I was in a session with Tom Gibis and it was so much fun. That to me was like, wow. That was like a big moment. Like that was like a wow, you know? So that was probably in hindsight, one of the funnest days I ever had doing this job, you know?
Was the voice still ringing in your head after you were done with work?
Oh, the Toy Man, you mean?
Yeah, Toy Man, zany, loony
Yeah.
persona.
Well, that's the funny thing is it's kind of sort of a one and done, you know, and it's like, oh, Batman, oh, you think you're going to get in trouble? I'm going to get you, you know, and I can't even remember any of the lines, and I don't even know if I'm doing it justice, but it's just, you know, it's sort of like playing in a World Series game. You get that one game, and then you go back and you go, oh yeah, that fifth inning was crazy. I don't remember, right? It was like, it was just so much fun. So that was a good day for me. And you know,
I'm wondering here, do you know what will happen with the Naruto universe in the future? Is there any possibility, or do we not really know any of that yet?
I don't know. You know, I wish I did, but I don't. Yeah, I mean, the biggest clue is if you can watch the manga, you know, because if that comes out first. So that's your clue as to if there's anything coming or going.
Right.
I think they look at it, and there's a lot of options, a lot of aspects to it. Because I know the guy, and I should know his name, the man who wrote the show. Kishimoto. Yes. He had left the show for a little while, and then he came back, and then he went and did some other things, and he came back. And I think there was an appetite for it, and so they were like, well, we'll make more shows. That's kind of where Boruto came, because I think everybody wanted to know what happened to everybody, you know? Right. And the beauty of Boruto is it mixes those two worlds. You know, you've had this whole thing of Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, and then we get them as kind of a stable base, and then we've got all these new characters to play with. Right. And so to people that come into Boruto as a younger person, that show is for them, right? And then their parents or their older brothers and sisters go, oh yeah, that's Shikamaru. Oh, hey, that's Shikamaru. That's, you know, there's Naruto. Oh, that's cool that they kept them still in the show, even though I do like the first 5 minutes of the show and the last 5 minutes of the show. Yeah. The kids get to do all the missions now. Right. All the fun stuff. But I think they throw a bone to the older crowd. I think some of the knock that Boruto gets is that it's not as good as Naruto, but it's different. You know, yeah, like Naruto, if you go back and you had to start over and watch Naruto again, you might be like, I don't know, it's kind of for kids, because when you were a kid, when you watched it, and then it went to Naruto Shippuden where everything got dark and angry and people died and the stakes were high and all this stuff was going on. And then they started over where it's for kids again, because they're trying to build that audience up again. So the question is, will it continue? I kind of depends on how well Boruto does, right? If there's an appetite for Boruto and these characters, the new characters, the Shikadais, the Boruto characters and the others to continue on, then they may consider doing that. So in a way, if you want to get all high and mighty and poo-poo Boruto and talk about how great Naruto is and how sucky Boruto is, you might just be ending the series.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no, I could see why people would think that. Boruto, it was different at first. You got to give it some time, though. But then it gets good. It touches all the same aspects. The emotional aspects, everything.
And I think a little bit, and I don't know for sure, and this is just an opinion, I feel like the animation isn't as good, and it might be that they tried to save a little money. I think if you almost have to put your producer hat on.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's the problem. You know, we look at it as fans, and we love the stories, and we look at it as like how a fan would look at it. And wouldn't it be great if this happened or that happened or that? But when you look at it as a producer who's in it for one reason, to make money, right? You're like, well, Naruto was huge. So then we made Naruto Shippuden, and that was huge. Was very successful. And now we got Boruto, and it's sort of dropped off a bit. And it's like, you look at ratings and you look at like, what you can do for toy sales? What can you do for, how are the books selling? And they can tell you, like the guy, again, the originator of, Naruto, and again, you guys might know more of this than I do, but this is my understanding of it. He had left the show for a little while because he wanted to do something else, and he wrote another manga that was completely different, and it failed.
Yeah,
like
right.
it did not do well at all. And so he ended up coming back to Naruto like, hey, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. I think he was like, I've done this for a while. I'd rather do something else. So he turned it over to the staff writers and the other people to take it over. And he still had some sort of creative say over it. But then he tried to launch another series, completely different. And people were like, it just didn't have whatever, it's lightning in a bottle. It's that thing about what makes a show a hit. And
right.
I'll tell you, if anybody can tell you what that is, they're going to be the richest person in the world, because even people, you get lucky, right? It's just, you get the right actors, you get the right script, you get the right story, you get it at the right time, you get the right animators.
Everything adds up.
And it all works. And then sometimes you have, I liked the acting, but the story was a little off, or they miscast this person, or what's the weird animation, or who knows, right? Like,
right.
You just don't know you can kind of take a guess. Like this has elements of things that we know are going to be successful, but, or it becomes just a cookie cutter of something else that's been done, right? You go, oh, well, it's really just Star Wars dressed up, or it's, Harry Potter in a different form or something, right?
Yeah.
And so you kind of go, that's lame, and you move on. I don't know. A lot of shows, I think you sort of hit, it's just being in the right place, the right time, with the right product that you want to sell in the marketplace. And at the end of the day, and that's kind of goes wrap it all around, is that you got to think like a producer when you think like, how is this going to move forward? Because if they think they can make money making a movie, they'll make a movie. If they think they can make money doing another series, I really hope they do a Boruto Shippuden like we did with Naruto, and it gets dark and angry.
Totally. That would be the best.
You start losing some characters that were really, up, and we see some character switches where somebody that was good becomes bad, and bad becomes good. It's like, that would be awesome. As a fan, that would be awesome.
Yes, we'll start a petition for it.
But is there enough there,
right,
that they can sell it, find a network to play it? I mean, even if you look at Naruto was on Disney Channel, Naruto was on Fox Kids for a while, Naruto, it bounced all over. It was on a different place,
Cartoon Network, yeah.
And I don't know if we're kind of in a niche group,
that's
in the
true.
United States, and anime being sort of a niche, but there's enough people that like Naruto seems to be the gateway to a lot of other anime.
Totally.
In the United States anyway. Naruto's your first experience, and then you get out from that and you go, oh, I like Bleach, or I like, One Piece.
Yeah.
I'm kind of familiar with Naruto. Naruto just happens to be the one that's the most popular, that most people can relate to.
Yeah.
And it kind of got a lot of people into Naruto that would not have gotten into Naruto. That's back to our sub and dub argument. Dub has gotten a lot of kids that would have never gotten into anime because it was dubbed.
Right.
So you can say what you want, because the subgroup will always be a subgroup, because just some kids just are not going to want to do it because it's subbed, because it's
good to hook the kids, with the dub, get them a lifelong love for anime. Yeah, it's easier for them when they're younger to not want to have to deal with reading, and so right. That's a good point.
Right, but I mean, again, there's nothing wrong with either one of them, but you just kind of have to take a step back and go, oh, this is actually good for the art form. Look, there's a whole thing about being a fan of something. And it's whether it be music or art or anime or TV shows, whatever it is, there's a thing about when you discover a show, right? So you go, oh, there's this great show. It's on Apple Plus. It's called Ted Lasso. It's really great. You should watch this show. And then all your friends start watching the show, and they're like, oh, this is great. I love this show. This is fantastic. And then some guy at the grocery store says to you, hey, have you seen Ted Lasso? That's a pretty funny show. And you go, dude, I was into that 6 months ago. And then it gets to a point where you go, I don't like Ted Lasso anymore. That was a lame show. Because there's something about, we find something, we like it, and we make it precious,
Yeah.
Just like Lord of the Rings, like my precious, right?
Yes.
And it's ours, and we want to own it, and we want to be part of it. But then when it becomes popular, it's like, oh, now it's popular. Oh, everybody likes it.
Yeah, totally. That did totally happen with Naruto because it's almost the face of all anime. I get there's a lot of other really big shows, like Dragon Ball, Bleach,
Yeah, there's
etc. But that totally happened with Naruto.
I just think it's a thing of human nature.
Human nature. That's what it is.
It's not necessarily, anime fans or dub fans or sub fans or, it's just, that's the way we are as people. I noticed it a lot in music when I was a kid. People would find a band and they're just, nobody had ever heard of them. And then the band becomes huge. And then that same person that introduced you to them goes, yeah, they're lame. They sold out.
Yeah.
They're too popular now.
Yeah. It's a lot of going with the trends and gatekeeping and what the crowd says and stuff like that. But
yeah.
It's all about what's in your heart and, just being true to who you are. And if a certain show like caught your heart from the beginning, I think it'll always be in your DNA and you'll defend it and, ride or die for it,
Yeah, exactly. Well, and my whole thing is too, it's all peace and love, people. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can like what you like and I can like what I like, and we should be supportive of that. And especially in an artistic endeavor where we're doing storytelling and we're trying to convey ideas. And, if that's something you like, that's great, and if it's not something you're into, that's fine. But we don't need to be negative about something you don't like. It doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Just
I have the same mentality as you
try
on
and
that one.
Celebrate what you love without tearing down what somebody else loves, right?
Boom. The way you just said that, I like that. That's a good way to put it. I'm gonna quote that on Twitter.
Because there's a lot of haters. I mean, every once in a while I get comments, because I do a lot of TikTok stuff and I do a lot of Instagram stuff, and they're like, oh, yeah, or whatever. I go, hey, this isn't for you then. Thanks for stopping by.
Keep pushing.
Hey, whatever you're into. I'm glad you love what's funny is I was actually at a party once and I was talking to somebody and they said, oh, I'm into anime. And I was like, oh, have you heard of Naruto? And it's like, oh, yeah. That's a big show. And I said, well, I'm the voice of Shikamaru Nara on Naruto. And it's like, oh, I only listen to it in sub. And I'm like, okay, but is there anybody else at this party that could talk to you about Shikamaru Nara or the show Naruto?
Right? Yeah.
You sure you want to dismiss me so quick? It's like, okay, but throw me a bone here. I just told you this is what first of all, it's rude. This is what I told you I do for a living. And then you completely just
throw you out the window.
You could have saved that thought for in your head on your way home in your car.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a human nature thing more than anything, because I think that we all do it to a certain extent. It's trying to be aware of that we're doing it.
Yeah.
And saying, oh, I shouldn't put down what anybody else loves.
Right.
If you love the Kardashians, I may not love the Kardashians at all. But for me to go, when I first meet you anyway, and say, oh, you're into the Kardashians. Oh, okay. Well, that's fun. I can't say that I know what I haven't watched it or anything. It doesn't, you know what I mean? But that's great. I'm glad you love that. Or maybe you might want to find out why they love that. But or just change the subject to something else. You don't have to go, oh, that's so stupid. That's ruined American culture.
Right.
It's destroyed television as we know it.
Yeah, negative Nellies all around.
Now, we can say that with all of our friends that do hate the Kardashians.
Right.
If you run into somebody who finds that is something they want to be participating in, then you gotta be respectful a little bit.
Yeah, totally.
So, I hope we didn't lose any of that because you keep freezing up on my screen, but I keep talking because I keep thinking, oh, there we go again.
Oh, really?
Keeping that. We're just still recording the audio.
You froze a couple times on my screen too, but my screen on my end has kept moving, so I'm assuming it's the same for your
so
side.
We're doing the same thing then.
Yeah.
But so anyway, I hope you got my point. But just when you run into somebody that loves that thing, you don't feel like or even when you're online, don't feel like you need to bag on it. Just, this is what this finger's for. You just swipe to the next one.
Yeah. Keep going.
This doesn't apply to you. We have such a hard time doing that in this day and age. We feel like we all have to chime in and throw in our 2 cents. And
yeah,
everything I'm trying to do online and on TikTok and all that is just try to be like, let's have fun. That's all I'm about.
No, totally. There's a whole thing where it's, like honesty versus kindness. And yeah, honesty is usually always the best policy. But when it comes to like online things, people have this whole facade and idea of, oh no, I'm just keeping it real. And
but you can also keep it to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't feel like you need to share every idea that comes into your head.
Exactly.
Right?
That's my whole point.
You have an inner monologue.
Yeah. That's my whole point.
I think it's also when you get removed from it. When you're not the artist, when you're just somebody who is a consumer of artistic endeavors, it's real easy to go, I don't like that, I don't like this, and this is good, this is bad, which is fine because there is trash out there. There's people that but hey, that's just my opinion. But I don't need to necessarily share that opinion with everybody.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm trying to say is there's a politeness to. You don't need to be, if somebody asks you a direct question, do you like this? This song came out. What do you think? And you'd say, Now there's a nice way to say it and there's a rough way to say it. And you can say like, it's not really my thing. So maybe I'm not person to judge. I just don't, it didn't resonate with me for whatever reason, but it might with other people. And that's great. Right. So that's a nice way to say it. And then there's the way of like, I don't know, it's trash. It's garbage. I mean, I've heard other stuff that is so much better than this. This is awful. Like, what good does that do other than hurt the feelings of the artist or the person that that's trying? If anybody ever had, and this, because you've had to sit down and make music. When you sit down and think about the lyrics and you write them down and you come up with the score and you're coming up with the musical background and putting the instruments together or the sound together or editing or recording the tracks, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. Put in you're like, this is good. You ponder over a lyric for a couple of days. You're like, would it be better if I said this or this? And then you do that and you throw it out there and goes, oh, it's trash.
Yeah. Hey, honestly though, sometimes it helps because I keep my ego out of it all, and so I've never really gotten something like that, but I have had people tell me they don't get. Yeah,
what I'm saying is, if you ever had to go through the process, now maybe the like where if you really wanted to insult somebody, it's because you thought they were lazy about it.
Yeah,
like you took 5 minutes, went into a bathroom and recorded it. And made this weird sound, and you think this is going to be a hit record? Dude, you got to put in the work, right? So that might be a legitimate diss of the person is that they didn't put in the work or the effort, right?
Yeah.
That might be legit. But other than that, it's like, it's really just your opinion whether they tried to say something, it either resonated with you or it didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that brings us back to human nature too. Like it's just human nature. Like they don't want to explain themselves. It's just not for them. They pass. Couple word comment. They're done with it.
Yeah, exactly. But the sad thing is, with me anyway, sometimes it affects you. You're like, oh,
yeah, wake up call.
But the funniest thing is, I found sometimes the best thing you can do is agree with them.
Right. That's the best way to shut them down. I've learned. I
had this thing because when I started doing TikToks, I'd go, I'm Tom Gibis and I play Shikamaru Nara in Naruto, and somebody would go like, you're not saying it correctly. You say Shikamaru wrong. And I'd be like, you know what? You're absolutely right. And I think that's the way we say it on the show. And then the other thing that occurred to me is I never say my own name. Right. I say Naruto. I say Neji, I say Choji, but I don't go, Shikamaru Nara here. How are
Right.
you?
You're not a
And so-
Pokemon or a rapper.
And I talk really fast, so I lose the ooh at the end of Shikamaru,
Oh, okay.
because I say it really fast, and it's just the way I am. And I go, "You're right. I do say it wrong. I kind of say it the way I say it, and I'm probably going to say it wrong again. So
Right.
I'm sorry, but thanks for the tip. I'll listen to it, but." If I'm in the booth and I've got a director there, they can kind of correct me and we can get it right. But I just said, that's the way it is. That's funny that you caught that. And then I move on. And it was funny. Then the discussion kind of became about like that. Oh, yeah, it's like a Midwestern accent that he has. And he's saying this. And it's like, great, fine. Because other people were trying to defend me, trying to be like, you can't say that. He's like,
That's
okay,
right.
It's all right. And this guy is
Shikamaru
totally
Army.
right. I'm not saying it correctly. I'm rushing through it. And, but that's fine. Right. So if I don't get offended and I just go, you're absolutely right. And I'll try and do better. But just for reference, I'm probably going to say it wrong again in the future.
Yeah.
So here's an apology for everything I do from now until the end of time.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been watching you blow up on TikTok and Instagram, man. Really cool. Really, really cool stuff.
Yeah, it's been fun. And all I've been doing is just doing like what we're doing here, just sort of chatting, or if somebody asks a question, or if I think of something funny, like what Shikamaru would respond or how he would say something.
Yeah.
And again, that's where I think my improv is really helping there, because I just kind of go, yeah, whatever. Or I give a response. One of the first ones that hit was somebody said, what do you like, or what do you think of the Akatsuki? Do you like the Akatsuki? Because, the Akatsuki are very popular. I can see you having a Akatsuki jacket on the back there,
Yeah.
but they're the bad guys, right? So, but so you don't want to say anything bad about the Akatsuki, because it's like, I know the fans love them, right? But I just said it as, what would Shikamaru say about the Akatsuki? So I just said, F those guys, they killed Asuma. To me, I thought that's really funny, because
Yes,
it's
that's
true.
right.
That's how he would react. And I intellectually can say, wow, those are three-dimensional villains. They have a backstory. You can understand where they came from. It's like you think they're evil, but maybe they're not as evil as they kind of, you think, at least you thought on the surface.
Right.
Like, that's really great, right? Like they're real people that have had things happen to them, and then they chose a different, but it kind of depends on your perspective, right?
Yeah.
As to
Perspective.
what makes them evil, or if they're the good guy in their story, right? If you wrote the story of the Akatsuki, they're the good guys, right? They're
Right.
trying to change the world in a way, or take revenge on these people that had hurt them in the past. So that's
Yeah.
what makes
They
it
all want
weird.
peace. All the villains usually in Naruto
Yeah, all
they
want peace.
They want peace, but
Peace by me being in control.
right.
But that's the beauty of the show. The writing is so good. The character development is so fantastic. And so intellectually, I can say, oh, the Akatsuki are, this is great. And you look at all the jackets and the headbands and stuff that everybody wears. It's like, when I go to cons, I go, Akatsuki, as they pass by. And I think I hope they get a little kick out of it.
Yeah, of course.
Because they're cool. Like, it's like wearing a Darth Vader helmet or a cape or something, you'd be like, of course, because Darth Vader is cool, even though he's a bad guy.
Yeah. Speaking of the Akatsuki,
Oh,
I
boy.
have a question. So Hidan, who killed Asuma Sensei,
Yes.
Shikamaru destroyed him and
Yes.
ultimately had his head buried in a hole. But the thing
all
with
the
Hidan,
All the little parts of him are buried in that hole. Yes.
yeah, all of him, and he's headless in that hole.
Yes.
But he's like an immortal, so and you can't kill him. So what do you think he's doing in that hole to this day?
Oh, he's going insane. He's probably more insane than he was before. The thing about him is he was kind of insane.
Yeah.
So I think being buried in a hole. Somebody also put this idea.
With only your
forward,
thoughts.
That to me, I think it's creepier that he's just buried under the ground.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Stuck there. But somebody put a thing of that. He needed to feed on souls to be sustained, to have that immortality, to serve. He has to serve.
That makes sense.
Lord Yashin. Is it Yashin? I think that's what it was.
Yeah, his lord, that he always worshipped.
Jashin with a J. Sorry.
Yes.
If he doesn't do that, then he would then die. Like he would then he wouldn't be immortal anymore. So somebody had kind of put that theory out, and I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Although I like the idea that he's just creepy and alive and he's buried under there, and 500 years from now, somebody's going to dig up that field and there he is.
Yeah. So
he'll
he's
be even more nuts.
More nuts.
You know?
Okay. Can you real quick, record like a little intro that I'm going to edit in the beginning of this saying something? I'm Shikamaru Nara. Welcome to the Hydroverse.
I'm Shikamaru Nara. Welcome to the Hydroverse. Okay, I can give you a better take, I think.
Nailed it.
I'm Shikamaru Nara. Did I say it right? I'm Shikamaru Nara, and welcome to the Hydroverse. What a drag.
Yes.
What a drag ruins everything, doesn't it?
No, I love the what a drag, because from Shikamaru's mentality, everything's a drag, and that's fine by me.
It's no cloud watching festival, but it's something. It's a show that's on. How about that? What do you think of the show? It's on.
It exists. So I don't know how long we went, but I mean, I don't want to keep you forever, but
this is how my phone conversations go.
I've loved chatting.
I feel like we just had a chat, and that's nice. I hope the audience gets something out of it, but I feel like you and I just had a conversation. So.
Yeah, totally. I loved it. Chatting, you freestyled and went into other little stories and topics and stuff like that. Do you like Vikings, or is it just the football team?
Oh, I'm from Minnesota.
Oh,
I grew up in Minnesota. The Minnesota.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Minnesota Vikings, right there.
So is it the accent? Is it more of the football team, or are you into Norse mythology and stuff like that?
I am Danish and
German. Oh, okay.
So I'm Danish, German. I'm like quarter Danish, quarter German, and then I'm like everything else. Mostly 98% Northern European. That's my genetic makeup.
Okay.
So they're my people. And if you live in Minnesota, Minnesota is all Scandinavians. It's Swedish, Germans, and German isn't Scandinavia, but Danish and Norwegians and, Icelanders. So they all settled in Minnesota because it's got snow. It's very much like where they came from. Right. So every place in Minnesota is Olsen or Jorgensen or, Benson or Erickson or.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I have the Gibis is German. So that's, but anyway, so if you're in Minnesota, you're surrounded by Danes and Swedes and,
okay, so that makes sense. Yeah.
It is my team, but they're also my people. That's kind of where I came from.
Did you ever watch the show Vikings?
I watched a little of it.
Okay,
but I'm playing Assassin's Creed right now.
Oh, Valhalla. Nice.
And I'm getting a kick out of that. And, it's funny. I kind of did a deep dive on just sort of Norse mythology, probably because of the Avengers, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to get into the whole, Loki, Odin tale, the whole thing. And it's pretty interesting, So, yeah.
Okay, just wondering. And also, I see
I have Maile Flanagan calling me right now.
Oh, if you want her to answer, go ahead. That'd be okay.
Hey, Maile, can I call?
Can she do a voice real quick?
I'm on an interview right now. They actually would like to know if you'd like to just say hello for a second. I'm doing the Hydroverse is the name of the YouTube thing. Hold on. I'll just have you say believe it, and then I'll call you back when I'm done. Is that okay? Thank you. Hold on one second. I'm going to put you on speaker.
Hi, Maile.
All right, Maile Flanagan, you're on the air.
Hey guys, it's Maile Flanagan, aka Naruto Uzumaki. Believe it.
Yeah. Thank you, Maile. Thank you, Maile. I will call you back in about 5 minutes. 5 or 10 minutes.
Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
That was amazing. Wow. Of all things to happen, I'm blown
Isn't
away.
that weird?
Yeah.
Well, I called her earlier in the day because I had to ask her a question. And then she was in a session or something, so she didn't get back to me. And then it's so funny that she called me back right when we were doing the show. So.
Yeah, that's so cool.
That's the wild life of us Naruto people.
Yeah. So you guys are cool friends. That's cool. I've seen other things online with you too. So
she and I did improv comedy back in Minnesota together, like years ago, like in the early '90s. We were part of a improv comedy troupe. And,
so even before Naruto.
Yeah, way before. It's weird that we ended up on the same show.
Right, and now Shikamaru is the Hokage's assistant. Like it's crazy.
So we have a lot of fun with that. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, and I kind of got her going on TikTok. And so we have since TikTok, we've actually talked a lot more than we used to talk, because it's like, hey, how are your numbers doing? What do you? Hey, if I do this thing, do you want to do a duet to it, or that? So we've done a little bit of back and forth with that, which is fun. So we're just trying to have fun with it right now. Where everybody's trying to get verified on.
Yeah.
So we got Yuri and Tara, who plays Tamari,
right,
and Yuri, who plays Sasuke. And so Maile and I, we've kind of got into it around the same time. I was sort of the first one in the pool, and then I brought Maile, and then Maile got Yuri and Tara to come on, and so I tried to promote them and get their stuff going. And so right now I try and do hashtag verify the Naruto cast. That's kind of my goal in life.
Okay, that's a hashtag. I'm gonna try to help. I'll throw that out there and promote it a little bit. Yeah,
we'll just see if we can get it to happen. I mean, I'm at, not to brag or anything, but I'm at over 500,000 right now. Oh wow! And if this, I don't know what gets edited in or out here, but if you're listening, so Miley's at 3 something right now, 355, I think, something like that. And it is a crime against humanity, people, that Maile Flanagan has less than Tom Gibis. We could at least be the same, and she should probably have more. It's not, there's injustice in the world. You TikTokers got to get out there and you got to follow her.
Right. It's not Shikamaru Shippuden, but it should be.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kidding. No, yeah,
He's
that's
too lazy
right.
to have his own show.
It's way too lazy. That's right, Tom.
Although there's a couple of books out there, Shikamaru Adventures. So who knows? That could, that would be great if that turned into a show, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Well, alrighty, Tom Gibis, I'm gonna let you go, and I know we went way over our original time, and
well, you're gonna edit a bunch of this, correct?
Probably some of the stuff, but the majority I'm gonna keep in. Yeah.
All right. If you can get people to listen to it for this long.
Yeah. That's the thing. I'm gonna try to make it entertaining as entertaining as possible.
We'll add explosions and music.
Yeah, stuff like that. I'll have a good thumbnail too. Yeah, it'll be my face shocked. Maile Flanagan calls during the interview with Tom Gibbous.
Well, yeah, you got to keep that part for sure.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I just hope it all recorded on my computer.
Yeah.
It did.
Well, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Thanks for finding me on Cameo too. That was fun.
Yeah, totally. That's amazing that you offer that to people, and I hope you're doing well with that. Just
to let you know, the only reason I really did that was because I was getting so many requests on Instagram. On Instagram, it's easy because you can just hit the record button and do something simple. One line, happy birthday, whatever, that kind of thing. But it got so overwhelming, like it just blew up, and I couldn't get to people. And then people were saying like, oh man, it's my birthday. Can you? And I was like, and my wife said, well, why don't you go on Cameo? And then the people that really need to have you do a birthday message or something, they can get a hold of you. At least there's a route that they can get to you. Because right now, if you put something on my DM, I don't know if I'll even see it.
Right.
I don't even know. So somebody could be like, I will die on Thursday unless you do this on Wednesday. And I'm like, I can't.
Oh God.
Because I didn't see it till Friday or I never saw it. Right. And I've had a couple of people that kind of got mad at me. Like, how come you never got back to me? It's like, I have like 10,000 messages on my phone.
Yeah.
I can't, I honestly, I can't do it. So at least this way. And look, I make a little money, which is, I can't even believe it, but
Power to you.
It's great. We don't get paid all that much, but it's not horrible. And you should never talk about money, but I'm just saying it's not what you think it is. Okay. I'm not making Robert Downey Jr. money. Right.
Right.
So it is kind of nice, but the whole only reason I really did it was just so that I knew there was a way you could get a hold of me if you absolutely had to. So that was kind of the reason I did it. And it's been very successful. And I think I've made a lot of people very happy. I didn't do it on yours because you were having me do like random lines, right? You wanted me to do.
Yours was phenomenal. Everyone.
Because I usually do like a whole story. I do the whole voice and I, tell a whole message as Shikamaru. It's like a one-man show.
Yeah. No, it was phenomenal what you did. You freestyled a couple different ones, gave me some stuff to pick and choose from.
Oh, right. That's right.
I like the one where you were like, don't be an idiot like Naruto. Listen to Hydro's music. That was great.
But usually what I'll do is like you're having a conversation from Shikamaru. And I don't know if everybody does that. I think people just do their catchphrase and say hi and happy birthday or whatever. And maybe it's because I feel like I'm charging people money. I feel like they should really get something from it.
Yeah.
So I really try and, think about it and come up with something, so, and it's fun and I get to stretch that improv muscle a little bit, which is.
Yeah. Yeah. So if anyone's watching to this point, you could go to cameo.com or download the app and just search Tom Gibis.
That's right. I'm there. I think Miley's on there too. And
yeah, she is.
Brian Donovan, who's Rock Lee, he's on there. And Kyle Hebert, who's Kiba. And,
Sasuke's on there too.
Hinata. And
Hinata's on there.
Tara, who's Tamari is on there. And Yuri Lowenthal, Sasuke is on there. So they're all there. You can find us.
Yeah. Legends, living legends.
So it's a fun thing to do. I try and really have fun with it. So
yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you stopping by and doing this interview.
Well, thanks for having me.
Definitely honored and salutes to you and major blessings going forward. And I hope you continue to have a great, successful career in life.
Thanks. You too. And if I can, TikTok, Instagram, at the real Tom Gibis.
At the real Tom Gibis.
At the real Tom Gibis.
Check the links in the description. I'll make sure to put them down below.
Hidan, you're a sweaty tryhard. You could never beat Team 10. Whatever. Go back to your hole.
Yes. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. Signing off, Mr. Gibis. You have a great one.
Bye-bye.
All right. Talk to you later.